In this video, I want to go over the Nearpod add-on for Google Slides. It is definitely a better way to create your Nearpod lessons, especially if you would like to collaborate with colleagues. And also it allows editing your Nearpod lessons a lot easier than the traditional way to upload and create Nearpod lessons in the past. So you can start either with an already existing Google Slides presentation that you have, or you can do it from scratch. But once you open up your Google Slides file, if you go over to the add-ons section and click on that, at the bottom where it says Get Add-ons is where you would be able to find this Nearpod add-on. And you would just have to search for it. It actually just shows up here because it's already installed for me. But if you just search for Nearpod, you'll see that the Nearpod for Google Slides add-on will show up, and you'll be able to install it into your Google Slides file. Once that's installed in your Google Slides, when you go back into add-ons from here on out, you'll see that it'll show up in this section. And you just have to open Nearpod and you'll see a side menu will show that will then let you create Nearpod activities. The first time that you open this up, it's going to tell you to sign in for the first time. And make sure that you sign in to Nearpod using your ACES Google credentials. And then you'll have the ability to insert the different Nearpod activities that you have available to you. So for example, if I wanted to insert an activity in between slides 4 and 5, I can just click here and then select whatever activity it is that I want to insert. So if I wanted to click on a draw it activity, then it's going to create my slide for me, and I can type in my instructions, I can put in media or video, whatever it is that I want my students to do. I can get that all set up. Once I have, I'll click on save, and this slide is now ready for me, and it's going to show up on my slide presentation. And you'll see that here it now shows along the side, there is that Nearpod activity. And so I can go along and create all of the different activities that I want for my lesson. If you want to install videos for your students to watch, make sure that you don't put it on your Google slide itself, but you definitely do need to include the video as one of the Nearpod activities so that when it uploads to Nearpod, it is active. One thing I will mention about videos, if you know what video you want, so for example, if you're using a YouTube video and you know exactly what video you want to use, get the URL from YouTube and insert it as a web content activity, because that will allow you to paste that URL and it will then upload that video. By clicking on the video activity button, it's great if you have videos that you need to upload. So if you have like your own movie files in your drive or from your computer that you want to upload, if you don't know the video and you just want to do a general search, you can do it. But from this safe search, you can't really put in the URL. And if you know what video you're looking for, you might search for it by the title, but it doesn't always show up. So my suggestion is, if you know your video and you have the link, then use the web content slide. If you don't know your video or you have one that you need to upload, then use the video slide. So once you have everything done, and because we're working on a Google slide, that means that I was able to share out my slide. I could have shared it out to my colleagues, and we could have been working on this together and collaborated our lesson. Once we're done with our lesson, then all we need to do is click on save and go to Nearpod. Now, every colleague needs to do this on their end. They can save and go to Nearpod, and then this lesson is going to be saved into their Nearpod library. So once we do that, you see that it's saving right here. It's going to show up on your library in just a second as it's saving all of the different activities and slides. So once we give it just a second. There you go. Now it's up and ready for us to use either as a live lesson or student pace. Now, for example, if I wanted to edit something on my activity, there's something on my slides that I wanted to change, or there's an activity that I wanted to change from Nearpod, when I click on edit, it's going to open it back in Google Slides. So I can go ahead and edit my slides a lot easier or change up my activities. The same thing for my colleagues. If my colleagues go in and edit, they can go ahead and do it directly from their Google slide. The only thing you need to remember is that any changes that you make onto your presentation, you need to make sure that you have saved it into Nearpod. So make sure you've opened up your add-on. Once you've made all of your changes in your slides or your activities, you need to make sure that you save it again so that the newest copy is updated within your Nearpod library. If one of your colleagues happens to go in and makes changes to your presentation, you'll know from your library because your lesson is actually going to be outlined in red. And that lets you know that there have been changes. And then it'll let you either accept those changes or you can keep your presentation as it was. That's up to you. But that's how you know, that's the notification that some changes have been made to the original presentation made by one of your colleagues. So that basically is how you would use the Nearpod add-on in Google Slides. I definitely suggest using that to create your lessons, and especially when you want to be able to collaborate, it is the best and most effective way to do that. So thanks for watching.